mailbox over the bush.
So, we're going to go ahead. We're recording now, so try to stay quiet. Make sure your name is on your paper. And this is all reviewing what we've already learned this year before break. So we're going to go through and fill this out together, okay? So let's start with number 1. If you know the answer, raise your hand, okay? In 1763, the French and Indian War ended. Blank won the war and the land they were fighting over. Who won that war there, Eden, you know?
Yeah, the British.
The British, right. And remember, the colonists at that time were also British. So the British / and the colonists, they were all British. So write British, Dalton, in that first blank. All right, let's look at number 2. The Proclamation of 1763 angered colonists because it said they could not move west of the blank into the land they had just fought for. Do you remember there was a group of mountains. They were not able to move west of those mountains. Raise your hand, Ariel. Right, this is a big one. Appalachian Mountains. APPALACHIAN. We'll just abbreviate mountains. MTNS. Period. And that specifically, the area they had been fighting over was the Ohio River Valley. Actually, we live in part of that area. All right, so, and I don't know if you've already noticed, but I'm going to point it out. We're going forward in time. So 1763. Oh, awesome. So now 1765. We're kind of leading up to the big war, okay? In 1765, England passed the Blank Act to try to raise money for war debts. Now, we've studied about lots of acts, so, you know, this is the first, one of the first ones. Braden, you got a guess? T Act is going to come later on a different date, a different year. Before the T Act was one we talked about. Madison? Very good, the Stamp Act. That's where they had to pay a little extra for paper products and get a stamp on it to show they paid the tax. Stamp. Yep, just stamp. So write that down. All right, number 4. 5 colonists were killed during a scuffle with the British soldiers in 1770 in an event later named the Boston Blank. All right, Eden. Massacre. The fact that someone was killed was a pretty good hint because that's basically what a massacre is. Massacre. It's the word mass and the word acre. Okay, so moving forward, things are heating up even more now. 5. In 1773, Parliament passed the Tea Act. Colonists protested the tea tax with the Boston Blank. Ariel? Tea Party, where they threw all that tea into Boston Harbor. We've been off a week, but you guys are remembering quite a bit here, so I'm impressed. I know. First day backs.
And I had to set for the tornado.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Yes, there was last night. It hit Columbus.
Yeah, it wasn't here, but they were. All right, let's move on to number 6. This is kind of a long one here, guys. So listen carefully. Parliament passed the blank to punish colonists for the Boston Tea Party. Let's get that one done. This one's a big word. It's going to be hard to remember. I'll give you a hint. Starts with an I. No, the N. Intolerable acts. The colonists called them that because they said they were intolerable. They were terrible. They couldn't stand it. So they passed the Intolerable Acts to punish the colonists for the Boston Tea Party. Remember, they said they had to pay back what all that tea was worth, which was a lot. Among other things, these acts closed the port of blank.
Boston?
Yep, Boston. It's where all the action's happening.
What?
What? Hang on. Abolished town meetings and made colonists blank or house British redcoats. What?
Can I use the bathroom?
Yeah, did you not see my sign? You were supposed to go between. Go ahead. Anybody know what that was called when they had to let the soldiers stay in their homes?
House?
Nope. Quarter.
What?
Quarter.
Quarters are rather valuable.
Quarter. Okay, different meaning of quarter than the money type. Quarters are like when you stay in your quarters. It's kind of a military term often when you hear it used that way.
I feel like money quarters are actually very valuable because you can make like $1 out of 4 quarters.
Yeah, I like quarters. All right, so they called part of that was the Quartering Act, where they had to let soldiers stay in their houses. That would not be fun. All right, moving on. We ready? Number 7. The First Continental Congress was held in the fall of 1774 in the city of blank. It's not Boston this time, surprisingly.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is a colony, or now a state, not a city. Think of another famous colonial city. Starts with a PH.
Philadelphia.
Right. Philadelphia. Okay. In the city of Philadelphia, I think that N is a mistake there, to try to make peace with Britain and to get the Intolerable Acts repealed. Plans were made to start preparing for a fight if needed. So they started saying, hey, we need to gather up weapons, ammo, and we need to start militias. All right, and that leads to the next thing that happens. The British find out colonists are storing up weapons, and they decide to march out and take some of them, and that leads to the first battle. All right, so on April 19, 1775, the first shots of the war were fired at the towns of blank and blank. Anybody remember that? That's kind of obscure. Okay, Lexington was one. Lexington.
Like Lexington in Indiana?
Nope, Lexington in Massachusetts.
Oh, I forgot there's 2 of them.
And the other town, we looked at a map of it way back before spring break, because on the map it showed Boston and was on that peninsula, and then how they went over and they got to Lexington, and then they went on to the second town, which was named Concord. Lexington and Concord. Yeah. All right. The first shot was famously nicknamed the shot heard round the world.
Do you want me to help Dalton, or is he gonna write it?
Well, I assumed he was writing it, but I don't know.
Okay.
Dalton, have you been copying these down? I mean, all he has to do is copy them. So that's basically no new information. That's just all stuff we've talked about, and I just wanted to review since we've been off for a week, right? So now we're going to go on to the next part. I am going to pause this. So if you're watching this video, you're going to fill out these pages here using the slideshow that I put in your Canvas for Monday. Each slide has all the answers. You just find them and copy them down. All right, so we're back to this. So, part 1 of the Declaration of Independence reads like this, and it seems to be stuck here. I tell you.